Okay, so let's talk about some intervals some more, since interval is sort of the nuts and bolts of the entire music theory system. Here's a major third. Let's invert that interval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A sixth. This interval here is 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps, 4 whole steps. There's 1, there's a whole step, there's a whole step, there's a whole step, and there's a whole step. We know that this is a major sixth. It's the sixth step up a major scale. So this is quite simply a minor sixth. A major third interval inverted becomes a minor sixth. Okay, the term minor sixth applies to this interval. It also can apply to a chord that's a minor chord that has the sixth step added to it. We looked at modes. The scale from 1 to 1 is a certain mode. The scale from 2 to 2 is a certain mode. Alright, well, let's find a real interesting one here at the sixth. Chords and scales built on the sixth step of the scale also have a special relationship to the root in that they're called the relative minor. So here's the tonic chord in the key of C. Here's the relative minor. I think you can hear the chord progression coming. If we go to the subdominant, follow it with the dominant, we have the basic chord progression. Alright, so let's look at the scale built on 6. Whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Let's do that from C to see what kind of scale we got. 1, 2, and a half, whole step, and a half, whole step, and a whole step. Like 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1 again. Alright, as you go up the scale, you get to hear, and it makes you want to hear that tonic note again after hearing the leading tone. Leading tone meaning it leads to the tonic. And the 5 chord is the one that's got the leading tone in it, making you want to hear the resolution to tonic. Alright, looking at this relative minor scale, the Aeolian mode, we discovered that we don't have a leading tone here. Now we have a leading tone simply by altering this 7th step, the diatonic 7th step, the one that naturally occurs just by using all the white keys. Now you've got a tonic chord, a subdominant chord, and a dominant chord, and provides a leading tone to the tonic. And then you've also got an interesting step to major 7. So let's do this in the key of C so we can see what's happening. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, major 7, tonic. Just to review, this came from the 6th mode of the major scale. It's referred to as the relative minor because it has 2 tones in common with the tonic chord. And here's another look at that pentatonic scale. It's built on the relative minor. That's an easy way to look at it. First tone of the relative minor scale. The third tone, which is a flatted third in terms of a major scale. Fourth and fifth, which happen to be perfect. And the flat 7. Straighten out the steps business. An octave doesn't have 8 steps in it. There's 2 places where there is no black key, or in other words a half step. So from here to here is a whole step, obvious. 2 whole steps, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. So there are 6 steps to an octave. Alright, there's a couple of things that you need to notice, and that is the cardinal versus ordinal numbers. Cardinal numbers are counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ordinal numbers are 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And as we talked about cardinal and ordinal numbers, the 7 chord is not 7th chord. A 7 chord and a 7th chord are 2 completely different animals, and we will get to that.